Hi, class. I wanted to do a quick recaps for some major topics we've discussed this week, and I also wanted to introduce you to 7 major integrative themes, and these are great themes to think holistically when we think about psychology. What are some things we want students to connect? So as you're learning things topic by topic, or as we move throughout perspectives, in different areas of psychology, I want you to kind of have these 7 themes in mind. So first, I wanted just to do a quick review of the 7 major perspectives. So 7 major perspectives, 6 of them we're going to focus on. I'm using my hands. A number of you said how you appreciated visual learning or you were a visual learner. I will also say, no matter how you feel you learn best in whatever kind of modality, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, etc., your best way of learning is active learning. And so you might be more entertained and engaged with visuals, but active learning is the way to go. So hopefully you've been taking notes and checking your learning as we've been going through these weeks and making connections. Okay, 7 perspectives. First one, psychodynamic, psychoanalytical. We're thinking about the past, and we're also going to work through different levels of consciousness. And so if I'm focused on this perspective, I'm going to think earlier events I've experienced, past experiences are going to influence who I am today. We're going to learn more about these 7 perspectives in relation to personality next week. So thinking about the past, right? A big historical figure in this area was Freud. Second one, cognitive thinking. I'm thinking memory, attention, things that are going on with our processing of information are cognitive. So cognitive. Then the next one is behavioral. Behavioral, everyone has kind of learned what the middle finger when you see that. What that means, behavioral is all about the environment. I impact the environment and the environment impacts me. So we're going to focus on behavioral when we get to learning in a couple weeks. Humanistic is the ring finger. So humanistic is part of this idea of being the best version of yourself. So hopefully if you have a partner, again, this ring finger signifies you might have a significant other. You're bringing out the best in each other. They're bringing out the best in you. One of the key theorists for humanistic is Maslow. And so again, Maslow has this kind of pyramid you're going to learn more about, but in order for us to be the best version of ourselves, which is that peak in the pyramid, we need to have kind of met some other needs. So that's humanistic. Biological is here. It's kind of the same areas, like you're thinking about the brain, your brain stem. You can also think about Pinky and the Brain. If you know that cartoon, so biological. So when we talk about areas of the brain, we talk about nerves, we talk about neurotransmitters, all of those things. When we talk about fight or flight or freeze, our stress responses in our body and our calming system, all of that is part of a biological. The next one is sociocultural. So we're going to use our palm, kind of a mix of everything. When we talk about culture, we talk about social impact, kind of those different layers of your environment that influence who you are. Is sociocultural. And then the last one, which we're going to have less focus on, is evolutionary. So imagine I had another finger sticking out, that would be evolutionary. So these perspectives we're going to see, you're going to see weeks that we have a whole chapter focused on these perspectives. And we think about these as different lenses of interpreting situations, which is one of your assignments that you've got. The next major topic was just 9.2 from chapter 9. So developmental theories, though developmental psych is an awesome, great whole class you can have. But I'm just focused for this summer on developmental theories. So each theory kind of connects with a key perspective. And so I highlighted those. And then I also highlighted some key aspects of each one of these theories. There are some other developmental theories in there, but these are the ones that we are going to focus on. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is our 7 major integrative themes. So again, these are big picture ideas. As a psychology instructor, I would want you to kind of think about when someone asked you, well, what did you learn from psychology, to have connected with these things. And so I'm going to go through each one. You're going to see these actually on the exams because I'm going to ask you, and you're going to see it on the study guide. To kind of make connections to these big themes as we are learning and connecting each of those different chapters and perspectives and topics. So the first one is you're going to learn a lot about different research, and we have a whole chapter on research. And so you see there's this research wheel where as we learn new things, that's going to influence how we teach things, what we share, how we can better improve ourselves, what works and what doesn't. So that's something that's kind of constantly evolving. You'll see this throughout the reading. So if you read about Piaget, you would have read about some stuff he underestimated kids can do and some stuff he overestimated kids can do. And we know so much more because of the technology we have and looking at brain activation or attention with little kids. So you'll see different examples of new research that's kind of informed us with our practice and life. Another big theme is looking at, we do have major theories and ideas that we know impact behavior. And we also know there's going to be individual differences. That's just a huge, exciting part of being a human, is that we do have individual differences. One of these examples you might see later on when we get to disorders and treatment. We have a whole continuum of what you might see as anxiety or as depression. And what I might think as stressful might not be stressful for you. Although we still have the same stress response, it might be activated differently. And so again, lots of different ways of, we're going to have these general things that we know how we behave in social groups and things like that. But then we do know there's individual differences. Then the next one is some of our ways of explaining our processes are going to be through these different lenses of psychology. So when we think about how I interpret a situation and how I perceive something, that's going to be influenced by things that are going on biologically, what I've attended to and noticed, things going on socially. How am I influenced in different social situations that might help lead me to attend to certain things and not others? Cultural factors is another huge umbrella. So that social cultural perspective, and all of those things are going to influence how I perceive things and how I behave. Another major theme is we want to promote equity and inclusion. So you're going to see past cases where that wasn't so great in some of the research that was done and practices, but that's something we're constantly moving towards. And you'll see that the American Psychological Association is really connected to providing information on equity and inclusion. So that's another major theme to connect. We're going to talk about perception in these next couple of weeks. And perception, we have sensation, which is the actual biological factor of how we see things, how we hear things, how we use all of our senses. Perception is the interpretation of that. And that really does impact how we see things. And we do have implicit biases. So you're going to learn more about that with sensation and perception, but that's something to keep a track of, again, another reason for those individual differences that you see. Another one is that we want to use these principles to improve our lives. I hope you take things from this class that you're like, I'm going to use this, or I'm going to share this with a friend, or I'm going to use this in my work situation or with my family members. We, again, going to the humanistic perspective of being the best you can be, and that kind of lends itself to the positive psychology movement. We want you to use what we know about psychology to improve your community, to improve yourself, to improve your workplace. And so all of those are huge themes, something I really hope you gain from this class. And then another thing is that we do have ethics that guide our research and practice. And so that's something that you'll see. It's discussed a little bit in your research chapter, but it's something we need to pay attention to. This idea of people getting benefits from participating in research, people being informed of research practices, and people being aware of what information is going to be used and how it's going to be used and who has access to that. All of those things are kind of guiding principles. So I hope this was helpful wrap up for the week, and thanks for watching.